Okay, let's get into the logistics of things. We talked a little bit about the why and some of the benefits of going to two services. Now we're going to talk about the how. How is this all going to work out? Well, like I said before, we're going to have two services, one at 9 a.m. and one at 10:45. So that gives us roughly 85 to 90 minutes of a worship service time in kids classes, time in equip class, and then we will have about 15 to 20 minutes of transition, and then we'll be able to do those same things and to serve another group of people that will be coming through. Now, why didn't we make our service times like a 9 and an 11 to give people a little bit more time? Well, our aim in doing a 9 and 10:45 is to encourage every person to be a part of everything that is going to take place over this 3 hour and 15-minute time period. And so we're moving from like a 9 to 11:30 time commitment to a 9 to 12:15 time commitment. And while some people might not be able to make that work with their current schedule or life stage, we want every single person to make an effort to be a part of all of it. By doing this, we don't have to remove any parts of our worship service. We don't have to stop taking the Lord's Supper every Sunday. We don't have to remove, like elements of our worship service that we love, like the member-led scripture reading and prayer. The sermons can be 45 minutes long. We're not truncating the amount of content you're getting on a Sunday morning from Scripture. These are all things that we hold dear, and so we want to be able to say, let's keep these things intact, and at the same time, let's not spread our services out too much so that we can still have other things going on in the building at the same time. A big philosophical driver in that for us is that we want to be one church gathered in one location on a Sunday morning, even though we might be, experiencing different discipleship formats. So one church gathered right here on Montgomery Road, while some people are going to be in equip class, other people in worship service, other people in worship service, other people are serving in Oaks Kids and in other ministries. That's a big heart of why we're doing what we're doing. Oaks Kids will be structured similarly to how it is now. It'll just be lengthened a little bit for that first hour, that first time slot. So if you think about it, we have in kind of that first time slot a little bit more high energy. The style of teaching is more activities, that kind of thing. And then that second time slot has a little bit more instruction. There's still songs, there's still activities, there's still other elements that make it high energy and fun. But you don't have to worry about putting your kid in Little Oaks and then them getting like the same lesson exactly 2 different times. So it'll be based on similar content, but presented in different ways so that it's something that your kid really wants to be a part of, and they're getting a different experience during that entire time. Like I said before, moving to 2 services means that we will have volunteers serving in one time slot, like in Oaks Kids, and then moving to that next time slot for worship service. They'll have 15 to 20 minutes to rotate, to kind of tag team off, and for the next volunteer to come in as the previous volunteers are going out. Now, for this to work, we need our volunteers to see themselves as like dedicated volunteers for a ministry area. It's our desire and my challenge to you that if you are a Sunday leader, if you're somebody that serves in Oaks Kids, that you would say, I want to serve in Junior Oaks for this entire time period, for this entire semester, so that I'm developing a relationship with the kids in this class, so that I'm becoming really confident at my ability to lead in this sphere and to serve our church family in that way. The next generation of not only the Oaks Church, but of missionaries, of Christian leaders, they're not in the worship center right now on a Sunday morning. They're in the classrooms that surround it. So whenever you serve in one of those areas, you are having an impact on generations to come. And so I want to encourage you to be a part of that. I want to encourage you to tell your team leader, hey, I want to serve in this ministry on a weekly basis at 9 a.m. or at 10:45. Now, as I said before, we're going to multiply the age breakdowns. So if you click on the document that is linked to this, you can kind of see where all of these age breakdowns work. As we're multiplying classrooms, a couple unique things will happen. We're going to put the baby Oaks in OCB 101, that room that is in kind of connected to the lobby. That will also mean that new age group will be like from 0 to 18 months or 0 to walking, because that room's a little bit smaller than the current room. But by moving those children up to Little Oaks, whenever they start walking, we're able to have a little bit smaller classroom because the babies can be held They can be in pack and plays, they can, be, crawling, that kind of thing, and it totally works out. We'll be having Little Oaks kind of in those two classrooms, so Little Oaks lower, Little Oaks upper. Those two classrooms will be able to have ages 18 months to 3 years, and then pre-K and kindergarten in the Little Oaks upper. Upstairs, you'll have both of our Junior Oaks classes, Junior Oaks lower, which will be 1st through 3rd grade, and now Junior Oaks upper is going to be 4th through 6th grade. Maybe you're wondering, okay, well, if Junior Oaks is taking the Oaks students class, where are Oaks students going? Oaks students will be taking over the conference room that I am in now. OCB 204 will become Oaks students, and we'll still use it on a Sunday. 9 a.m. will be the Oaks students' time, so they will not have a 10:45 slot. They'll be encouraged to go to the worship service during that time. And then at 10:45, we'll have our starting point class here in this room so that we can have a dual use for this class, even though it will be the Oaks students' class. Now, maybe you're wondering, well, how will we know who goes where? Like, what if every single person in our church decides to attend the 9 a.m. service and they want to serve the 10:45 or vice versa? Well, here's what you're going to see over the coming weeks. We are going to develop a form that we will send out to every church member. And our desire is that you would indicate the hour and the place that you want to serve, and then the hour that you plan to attend, or the time slot that you plan to attend. Whenever we use hour, we're just kind of referring to the two different times that will be taking place. So we want you to say, hey, this is where I want to serve. This is the time I want to serve. If you're serving in kids ministry, then obviously you wouldn't serve at the same time that you're attending worship service. If you're serving in security, you could do either. You could say, hey, I want to be present for the worship service. I can stand in the lobby and still hear what's going on, and I also want to serve in security. You could do that same kind of thing if you're on parking team. And then if you're an usher, well, you need to serve the same time slot that you're attending worship. If you're a band member, you're going to, serve in both of those time slots on the weeks that you're on, and then on the weeks that you're off, you'll attend one worship service, and then you'll go to, an equipped class, that kind of thing. And so we're going to send out a form. We're going to make the, QR code available at the announcements every week, and we're going to say, please, we need 100% participation in this. Please take the time to say, this is the service I plan to attend, and this is where I want to serve. And that will help us direct people that might be on the fence about where to go. If you're like, hey, I really want to dedicate this time to this time to this, we understand. And at the same time, if these results come in and it's looking like, oh man, one of these services is going to be really lopsided, we want to begin to encourage people before we get to August 11th to consider, hey, would you go to the 9? Would you go to the 10:45? So that we can have a critical mass of people there that help first-time guests and help fellow, church members feel like this is not a lesser service time than the other, but we also want each of them to have enough room and not be so overcrowded that we don't actually accomplish the purpose that we're setting out to in this whole process. We'll use Planning Center, and then we'll be able to have you sign up for those time slots. So check your email; it'll be in the weekly, all that kind of stuff. Maybe you're wondering, when will all of this go into effect? Well, it will all go into effect on August 11th. And so there are going to be some things that your team leaders are doing to establish plans, make modifications to specific teams and ministry roles. Then it will all go into effect on August 11th. Why August 11th? That kind of feels early. Are we actually going to need 2 services by then? Well, probably not, but that's on purpose. We want to have a couple weeks to kind of settle in, try things out, and adjust our plan. And then on August 25th, we'll have our training day. If you've been a part of the Oaks, we do 2 training days each year. And that's a time that we can say, hey, this is if you're coming onto a team and if you want to be refreshed on the new protocols for your team, this is the Sunday that you learn all of that. So it's August 25th. We can establish our new rhythms. Hey, we've tried this a couple weeks. This is what we're doing. And then that gives us a good on-ramp before we get to fall kickoff, the weekend after Labor Day in September, so that whenever we're inviting a ton of new people, when we're seeing a lot of first-time guests, whenever we're swinging our doors wide open, we can put our best foot forward and be hospitable, kind of have an idea of how things are going to go and what things look like with 2 services. So I hope that's helpful for you. Like I said, if you want more details, you can reach out to me. You reach out to any of our elders, your shepherding elder, your team leader. We would love to answer more questions for you. Hope this is helpful. You can also look at the doc that I've prepared that kind of walks through all of this written out. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you watching this video. If you have more questions, you can watch the next video that is kind of a question answer of any anticipated things that might come up. Thanks.